Hurricanes elected to defer to the second half, so they'll get things rolling in half number 2, fresh off a field goal to close out the first. And now the football in the hands of D'Eriq King, who has accounted for 19 total touchdowns. That's top 10 in the country right now. He's the 3-time quarterback of the week of the conference. But he's had his work cut out for him trying to break down this stout defense of Virginia Tech.
But right there at the end of the first half, Miami was able to find ways to get the ball going downfield, moving it through the air and on the ground. And again, a lot of that had to do with D'Eriq Hooker with the football in his hands and making plays. Have to keep doing that here in the second half, and it starts in this play.
King opens up the second half with a throw and slings a first down to Mike Harley. Just beating the coverage of Devin Taylor, the safety. That's a gain of 10.
That is a throw that requires, as Bill Rafferty would put it, some onions. Firing it right into coverage that time on a quick slant. Able to make the connection with his receiver that time.
And before the snap, we have a flag. Remember, Virginia Tech, 0 penalties in the first half. And the officials just resetting the play clock.
Again, that throws off the kind of the sync that they've had, this way they're moving the football, the tempo in which they're creating on offense, that kind of kills it a little bit now.
There's Pope in motion on the fake. Reed with pressure forces King out of the pocket. He'll heave a prayer down the sideline and way out of bounds. Trying to find Mike Harley.
Good catch on the sideline by the lineman for Virginia Tech, but another great play on the back end, that time by Murray. Saw him have a pass breakup in the end zone in the first half on that final drive for Miami. Now shows up again down the field. Great coverage and not a lot of room to make a play.
How about Tech at home in the conference, outscoring their opponents 85-38. A much different Tech team at home. And they're showing it today against 9th-ranked Miami. King lobs one up. He wants Wiggins, and knocked away perfectly by Armani Chapman.
Reading it on the back end. Chapman, great job. First of all, that time by Wiggins. Late hands here, not putting his hands up right away. But there was enough time that he had his hands up. It was able to be read. Great swat away. That's a veteran play that time on the back end by Chapman. Reading the hands of the receiver, see when they go up, and you know that football's coming.
Armani Chapman just 6 career starts, but the sophomore has stepped up today. Now Miami faces the 3rd and 10 to open up this second half. Sacks have been the story for the Hokies, and that continues. King is dropped for a loss of 6. And Virginia Tech getting after the quarterback with Jarrett Hewitt, their captain.
Another sack for Hewitt as well. Another play in the backfield for Hewitt. He's been the catalyst for this defense so far today. More pressure, great inside, more outside move. The Miami guard that time swims outside, gets to D'Eriq King again before he can have shop set up in the backfield. Another 3rd down pressure given up by this Miami offensive line.
That's the 2nd sack for Hewitt, who's come in with just 6 career sacks, stepping up on this D-line today. Now Headley rolls around to send it off. Blackshear wants to return it, and a bad decision. Dropped by the Hurricanes. Excellent open field tackle to Corey Couch. Levels the returner. Now time for a Goodyear more driven moment as Hendon Hooker gets cooking.
A little bit there at the end of the first half, but we talked about the legs of this Virginia Tech offense, and it's been on the ground, but Hooker able to make those plays through the air, and that opened it up, ultimately resulting in that 53-yard touchdown run, our first score of the day. Hooker's going to look to continue that here in the second half by distributing that football.
Gives it off to his lead tailback and Herbert to open up the second half, and he gains 4. 174 yards for Hendon Hooker in this first half, who is 6th in total offense in the Atlantic Coast Conference. He's been the big reason why the Hokies have 2 touchdowns.
It's a catalyst for this offense. Big-time football player, the redshirt junior, showing all of his skills out in the first half today. Can he build on those now?
Now Hooker on the keeper. He's got the first and wisely drops down to the 45 after a gain of 10.
These are the 2 leading rushers at the quarterback position in the ACC, so we expected to see a lot of it. But really, I think we were also expecting to see a little more elusiveness out of the Miami offense with D'Eriq King back there. But Hendon Hooker has been tremendous when he's run the football. Those 9 rushes for 67 yards and the aforementioned touchdown.
Last week he ran for 156 yards in the loss against Liberty. Explosive in this game as Hooker looks to throw and can't find his target. And Dulisses trying to strip the defense down the middle. Incomplete.
Great play call that time. Miami was caught with their pants down over the middle, loose coverage. Great play call, great execution all the way up until the catch. Just couldn't reel that one in.
Drake Dulius was wide open, just past his outstretched hands.
Sometimes you'll get that. You'll find yourself so wide open that you just don't have that much concentration on catching the football.
Just the 3rd incompletion for Hooker today, who's been very accurate with the football. Must get to midfield and move the chains here. Miami brings the blitz. Hooker calls his own number and skates forward for 5 yards. As the tackle also results in a lost helmet for Gervin Hall Jr., the West Palm Beach product.
Very shifty football player, even at 6'4" and 220. Hendon Hooker is. You see him jumping around there, making those jump cuts out on the field. A very shifty player. You'd think he'd be more of a power runner with the football in his hands, but he is very agile.
Big moment here for Justin Fuente, the head coach. After Miami goes 3 and out, now trying to march the ball into Hurricanes territory with a 1-point lead. And you see there the Hurricanes today just 2 of 6 on 3rd down. Hooker on a 4-man rush. Finds his target, and Robinson with the 1st down reception. That's his 5th catch.
Another one of those zones played by Miami on the back end. Sit down routes. Spacing is usually what that's called offensively. Get all your receivers, just come back right at the sticks, sit down and lean back for the 1st down. That time Robinson, right place in the right time, throw it to who's open. That's who it was.
Here's Herbert on the ground. He's so explosive, and Khalil Herbert gains an easy 10 yards. Remember, the Fort Lauderdale product did not play last week due to COVID policies against Liberty. He's back. And his biggest rush of the day.
You got to love what his line's doing for him up front. Zone play this time. Washes all the defensive linemen down up front. Another good gain.
Now Hooker wants to run out of the pocket, high-stepping his way to the 32. And here comes Hooker with a gain of 6.
And here comes this Virginia Tech offense as well. Faster pace, kind of what Miami's wanted to do. Didn't really do much of it in the first half, did Virginia Tech. Now come out with a little bit of a faster pace to find those yards.
Miami was +7 in terms of time of possession and minutes in that first half. And now the Hokies starting to move the football to drive that's pushed 45 yards. Here comes Blackshear in motion. He's got the football with a block to the 30 and short of the sticks by a yard. Hall able to bounce him out. Big 3rd and 1 on the way.
But this is a situation that favors Virginia Tech up front, especially where they've been moving on this drive, especially this defensive front for Miami on run plays. You got to expect some sort of pressure coming from Miami. So maybe this is the time where Virginia Tech takes a shot over the top or attacks downfield through the air instead of keeping it on the ground.
Hendon Hooker has been so effective on the ground. Now the Wildcat set. And Quincy Patterson comes into the game, the 3rd-string quarterback from Chicago, able to run the football. He's got 11 yards and a 1st down.
So if you like your quarterbacks at 6'4", we've got 2 of them. We got the 220 variety, and we've got 240. That's what Patterson comes in to do, that Wildcat package. 1 yard to go to pick up the 1st. Gets that and a whole lot more for a fresh set of downs.
Patterson had 122 yards in the win at home over NC State. He comes off the field as Hooker goes back to work in the red zone. Here's Jalen Holston trying to stretch it outside. He's got the corner. Holston inside the 10, and Holston going towards the end zone, just short of 6.
So we've got 3 runners for Virginia Tech here: Herbert, Blackshear, and Holston. And the whole way across the board, it's almost like they're the same guy. Holston now carrying a defender with him inside the 5.
Tech wants a touchdown right here. Holston back to it, and he gets his touchdown. 2nd score for Jalen Holston. And the Hokies strike for 6 here to open up the second half.
What a drive to start the second half. And again, 2 runs back-to-back for Jalen Holston. The second one again finding pay dirt just as it did in the first half. Tough run the first one, showing the speed to the outside. Good toughness with the stiff arm and dragging a defender inside the 5. And rightfully so, he gets to finish this drive off with a touchdown. Dragging another defender into the end zone with him.
Jalen Holston, he started just 2 games in his first 2 years. Here he is coming on as a redshirt junior from Stockbridge, Georgia. 2 rushing touchdowns today. And the perfect equation here for the Hokies. They lead by a score.
Look at a guy like Holston comes into this one. 7 rushes for 67 yards. Only 1 rush last week for 12 against the Flames of Liberty. I can review this one, but it looked like he got in. But all 3 of these runners that we've seen for Virginia Tech today.
Yeah, that's clearly in, by the way. His arm extended over the goal line.
All really almost the same guy. Holston's actually the biggest one of the bunch at 5'11 and 215, but you look at Khalil Herbert, 5'9", 212, and then Raheem Blackshear, 5'9 and 194. They all run the same way. They all have the same attributes. I think that really lends itself well to an offense like Virginia Tech has, where you have the same runner in the backfield, so you're not having, especially as an offensive line, having to change the pace in which you block.
Okay, Marks, you see that elbow down for Holston there. Is there possibly the ball short of the end zone? Tough to tell with Ivy in the way.
Yeah. And what we say about the last review, it has to be inconclusive. So I don't know if you can overturn it just based off of that camera view. If Ivy wasn't in the way, obviously that would give us a great look, but that is not the case here.
Here's a side angle that might help. See that arm down there.
It looks like he's got that ball extended across. I'd give him the touchdown.
Bubba Bolden tried to knock him short. And good luck figuring out that one for the replay crew. Here's the call. So touchdown, Virginia Tech. Holston is second rushing scorer. He had 2 career touchdowns coming into this game and a breakout effort from Jalen Holston.
Couldn't come at a better time if you're Virginia Tech either. Another great runner in this backfield, adding to the contributions of the #1 rushing attack in all the land leading into this one with 277 yards per game. Just another tailback you can lean on in this offense.
Brian Johnson on for the extra point. He's made 124 straight. Make it 125. Big sigh of relief from the band behind him. And the Hokies now up by 8. There is a flag. It's all Hokies here in the second half. Looking for the upset of 9th-ranked Miami. More from the third quarter when we return.